Hey everyone, welcome to the Script Podcast channel. We've got an amazing show for you today.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
You know, we usually think of willpower as this infinite well of mental toughness. Like if you just try hard enough, you can force yourself to go to the gym.
Right, or eat a salad, read 10 pages, whatever it is.
Exactly. And it feels like a total moral failing when you just collapse on the couch at 6 p.m. instead. But, well, biologically speaking, is it actually a character flaw?
No, I mean, it really isn't. It's just, it's an empty gas tank, basically.
Which is exactly what we're looking at today in this deep dive. We have this huge stack of research papers on habit formation and neurobiology. And the mission here is to figure out how to actually reshape your brain.
Yeah, we want to look past that standard, try harder, self-help advice. We're trying to give you a shortcut to move from exhausting willpower to effortless automaticity.
So to get to that automaticity, I know we first have to look at the brain's internal handoff process, right? Like when you first learn something new.
Yeah, exactly. So goal-directed actions, they start in the prefrontal cortex, the PFC. But the issue is that the PFC is incredibly resource-heavy. I mean, it operates on a very limited metabolic budget.
Okay, so let's picture this like a company. The prefrontal cortex is like the exhausted CEO.
Right, making all those high-level, energy-draining decisions.
Yeah, but eventually, they have to delegate those daily tasks, right?
Totally. And in the brain, the department they delegate to is basically the automated factory floor, which is the basal ganglia.
Oh, okay, so it shifts downwards.
Yeah, so as you repeat an action, control shifts from the CEO to that factory floor. And what's fascinating is how it physically happens. It's this process called myelination.
Myelination, so that involves the fatty sheaths, right?
Exactly. Your brain wraps frequently used neural pathways in myelin. It's like putting thick insulation on a copper wire. It drastically speeds up the electrical signals.
So the action just happens without conscious thought. That sounds incredibly efficient.
It is, but, there is a hidden danger here. Because the brain doesn't actually judge the action.
What do you mean?
Well, it structurally myelinates a healthy morning yoga routine and, say, a daily cigarette habit the exact same way. The factory floor just builds whatever the CEO keeps sending down.
Wow, okay. But since delegating to that factory floor requires physical cellular changes, like literally building fat around neurons, this obviously can't happen overnight.
No, not at all.
Which brings up that classic pop psychology rule. The whole idea that it takes 21 days to form a habit.
Oh, yeah. That number is actually a complete myth. It was misapplied from a doctor named Maxwell Maltz.
Wait, really? Who was he?
He was just observing how long it took his plastic surgery patients to get used to their new faces in the mirror.
You're kidding. A plastic surgery observation became the gold standard for habit formation.
Pretty wild, right? When you look at actual longitudinal research like Filippo Lalli's studies, the real average to reach peak automaticity is 66 days.
66 days. Wow.
Yeah, and for really complex skills, it ranges all the way up to 254 days.
Hang on, I want to push back on that a little. If it physically takes upwards of 254 days to wire a complex habit, how does anyone ever stick to a massive New Year's resolution? Our CEO's metabolic budget would just be completely bankrupt by week 2.
Well, that's the trap most people fall into, right? The PFC simply cannot sustain that level of effort.
Right, it's just too much all at once.
Exactly. But Lalli's research offers this crucial lifeline. It proves that missing one day does not derail the neural formation. It's an asymptotic curve.
Meaning the cellular building blocks of that myelin are still there even if you slip up.
Yes, exactly. Consistency is what builds the myelin over time. Perfection is absolutely not required.
That is a relief. But since our cognitive budget is so easily depleted, we really need to fiercely protect our PFC, don't we? And optimize how we actually deploy our intelligence.
Oh, definitely. Especially with modern technology constantly draining it. Take doom-scrolling negative news.
Oh man, I'm so guilty of that.
Right, a lot of us are. But that chronic stress hijacks your amygdala, which is the brain's fear center. And when it's constantly firing, it spikes cortisol.
Which is bad news for the PFC.
Very bad. Over time, it literally thins the neural connections in the prefrontal cortex. You get what researchers call popcorn brain.
Popcorn brain, like you're just constantly overstimulated and scattered.
Exactly. You become unable to engage deeply with anything.
So how do we stop thinning our hardware and actually upgrade it?
Well, by working with your biology instead of against it. The brain doesn't run on a continuous loop. It operates on these ultradian rhythms.
Right, the 90-minute biological cycles.
Yes, you have high mental alertness followed by a dip in energy. So if you align your demanding CEO tasks with those 90-minute peaks, you're riding a biological wave instead of, fighting the current.
And I read in the notes we can also use the extended mind thesis, which is basically offloading cognitive data to external tools, like writing things down in a notebook.
Yeah, you're essentially outsourcing memory.
Right. Acting as an external hard drive so we free up our brain's RAM. We don't waste the CEO's energy storing phone numbers or grocery lists.
Exactly, which leaves plenty of room for deeper second-order thinking. Your brain can actually focus on processing instead of just storing data.
So you can start hacking these automated pathways today then. Instead of relying on raw willpower, the research suggests habit stacking.
Right. Anchoring a new micro-habit to something your factory floor already does automatically.
Like taking 10 deep breaths the second you pour your morning coffee, just letting the environment trigger the habit.
Yes, and when you start doing that, you have to consider the long-term impact on the people around you. Because habits are literally a social contagion.
Because of mirror neurons, right?
Exactly. We have these mirror neurons that physically fire when we just observe someone else doing an action. The data shows that if your spouse quits smoking, your own chances of smoking drop by 67%.
67% just from observation. That is wild.
It really is.
So think about what that means for you listening right now. If neuroplasticity is a social contagion, are your daily microhabits inadvertently rewriting the physical brain architecture of everyone around you? Just something to mull over. Keep an eye on your factory floor.
There's this universal feeling we all have when we lock our front door at night.
Oh, absolutely. The deadbolt clicks.
Right, the click. It's supposed to be the ultimate boundary. Like, outside is the unpredictable world, but inside is, your safe haven.
Yeah, the architecture of a home is practically designed to keep threats out, both physically and psychologically. It's a binary system, safe or unsafe.
But what happens when you lock that door and, well, the threat is actually already inside? Welcome to your custom deep dive.
Today, our sources center on a forensic analysis of the 1922 Hinterkaifeck massacre.
Yeah, our mission is to explore the facts of this legendary unsolved German cold case and understand why it remains this chilling masterpiece of real-life horror for you to learn from.
It's a fascinating study in vulnerability.
It really is. So picture this remote, L-shaped Bavarian farmstead, totally surrounded by dense woods. Inside are 6 victims, ranging from 63-year-old Andreas Gruber down to 2-year-old Joseph. Okay, let's unpack this, because to understand their extreme vulnerability, we really have to look at the family's dark domestic dynamics.
Well, the physical isolation of the farm was honestly nothing compared to their social exile. I mean, there were these widely known rumors of incest between Andreas and his daughter, Victoria.
Right, which was a massive deal.
Oh, exactly. Because of this extreme stigma, they basically severed ties with their own community. They built this fortress of secrecy around themselves.
This is almost like a submarine, right?
Yeah.
The pressure from the outside community was so intense that they sealed all the hatches, but they ended up locking themselves in with a leak.
That is a perfect analogy.
Because, look at the horrific 6-month prelude to the murders. Their first maid quits in absolute terror, claiming she heard footsteps in the attic.
She constantly felt like she was being watched.
And then, right before the massacre, this unexplained Munich newspaper appears. House keys vanish. And Andreas actually finds footprints in the fresh snow leading directly to the machine room.
But never walking away.
Right, never walking away. It's the classic, the call is coming from inside the house, horror trope. Like, why wouldn't a family immediately flee or just go to the police after seeing one-way footprints?
What's fascinating here is that when you are the town pariahs harboring dark secrets, the authorities are the very last people you want investigating your property.
Ah, so he just kept quiet.
Yeah, they chose a paranoid resilience over exposure, and that silence gave the killer a terrifyingly long stalking phase. This wasn't, some opportunist breaking in. This was a patient predator conducting meticulous reconnaissance from the shadows of their own home.
Just living right above them.
Yeah.
And that patience led to a highly calculated execution on March 31.
Yeah, the killer used a heady mattock, which is a farming tool used for digging and chopping.
To systematically murder the entire family. And the details are just brutal. Like 7-year-old Cecilia actually survived in the barn for hours after the attack.
She was literally tearing her own hair out in shock.
It's so awful, but here's where it gets really interesting. You'd expect a slaughter that extreme to end with the killer sprinting into the woods in an absolute panic.
You really would. But the forensic evidence tells a totally different, much colder story.
Yeah.
The killer stayed on the farm for over 3 days.
Wait, 3 whole days?
Yes. They fed the cattle, ate the family's entire supply of bread, and even lit the oven.
Sending smoke right out the chimney for passersby to see.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this indicates profound psychological detachment. The perpetrator didn't just want to destroy the family.
They desired to literally occupy the farm.
Right, they were stepping into the role of the household head.
But occupying a crime scene for days leaves massive physical clues. I mean, before the Munich police even arrived, dozens of villagers wandered the scene.
Oh, it was a disaster.
They moved bodies and actually cooked meals in the exact same kitchen. Was the concept of crime scene preservation just non-existent in rural 1920s Bavaria?
It simply wasn't a concept for the general public back then. Their morbid curiosity entirely overrode any basic common sense.
So the scene was ruined.
The forensic contamination was absolute. The police were so desperate they actually sent the victims' severed heads to clairvoyants to try and solve it.
Oh, wow. Clairvoyance.
Yeah. And naturally, suspicion fell on neighbors, particularly a man named Lorenz Schlittenbauer, who had a really complex romantic history with Victoria.
And he was the one who led the search party that found the bodies, right?
He did. And witnesses noted how nonchalant he was. He was navigating locked doors as if he knew exactly how to bypass them.
Wait, if he navigated locked doors nonchalantly, showed zero emotion finding the bodies, and had a known messy romantic history with the victim, how on earth did the police fail to make a case against him?
Simply because the villagers had destroyed the physical scene. It made a legal conviction impossible at the time.
That is so frustrating.
But fast forward to 2007, a German police academy reviewed the surviving files. By stripping away the ruined physical evidence and focusing purely on victimology and behavioral profiling, they matched the killer's post-offense psychology to the suspects.
Oh, interesting.
And they actually unanimously identified the killer.
Wait, really? They solved it?
They did. But due to German privacy and ethical regulations, they sealed the name to protect the suspect's living descendants.
I cannot believe that. So what does this all mean? I think the real takeaway for you here is that true horror isn't found in monsters or cryptids. It's found in domestic violation.
Yeah, the terrifying reality of a patient predator living right above you.
Exactly. It shatters that binary illusion of safety we talked about at the start.
Completely.
And it leaves you with this provocative thought. If modern authorities actually solved this century-old mystery in 2007, does the ethical duty to protect a killer's living descendants outweigh the historical right to truth for those 6 victims? Next time you hear that deadbolt click, ask yourself, what secrets are we protecting and who is really locked inside?